Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well. So we're back in Horse Riding Tales, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get 3 stars in a dressage competition. Now, a lot of you guys asked for this video, and if you haven't seen my show jumping tutorial video, I'll link it up above. You can check it out. Now, some of the things I'm going to be talking about in this video are going to be similar to that, so if you have seen that, there are going to be some similarities here, but there are some differences between show jumping and the dressage competitions. Now, one other thing I'm going to mention, I am going to do a skywriting tutorial because I know a lot of you guys want a tutorial on those types of competitions. So let's go ahead and get started with one of the most crucial things that applies to pretty much all the competitions, but I like to go over this because it is really, really helpful. So here we've got Violet, okay? Now if we look at Violet, there's something very important here. She has 75 stamina, and you can see the stamina bar up here in the top left. Now, if we click on her stats, okay, we look at her rarity type is common, okay, and down here we can see her stamina gain of 2. So what that means is every time she levels up, okay, she will get an extra 2 stamina for every level up she does. And this will apply to her stamina. So as you can see right now, she's level 30 and she has 75 stamina. So if I start to give her apples, okay, when she goes to level 31, she's going to gain another 2 stamina. So there you can see she now has 77. So this is how this works, okay? This is how you increase the stamina bar. You use apples. You can get apples in a number of different ways. You can get them from competitions, you can get them from chests, you can get them from social events, you can get them from pack quests. There's a lot of different ways to gain apples. And apples can be used to level up your horse. So why is this important? Well, if you look at the stats, as I said, of her, she's a common type. She gets 2 stamina gain. Let's look at a different rarity horse. So this isn't uncommon, this is Snowdrop. They get 4 per level up, so if we were to give her some apples, she would go up by 4 points. So let's look at another one. Let's look at Foxglove. So we look at Foxglove, and she's a rare, and she gets 6 stamina gain per level. So then let's look at another one. Let's go ahead and look at Lavender. So Lavender is an epic. Lavender gets 8 stamina gain per level up. She'd go up by 8 every single time that she levels up with apples. Now, finally, let's look at the fantasy horse. So, we're going to look at Clem, obviously. So Clem here, if we look at her stats, she's a fantasy. She gets 10 stamina gain per level up. So that means that every time Clem levels up, she gets 10 because she's a fantasy horse and she has higher gain. So, when you go to do dressage competitions, my advice is to put your apples into a fantasy horse, and if you can't get a fantasy horse, then use an epic until you can get a fantasy horse, and then put your apples and focus on that horse, because then you're going to get more stamina in your bar. As you can see, Clem is level 250, she has 2,502 in total in stamina. Now you can probably see, this is something I'm going to have to show I'm going to have to use a different horse to demonstrate, but the next thing is mood, okay? Now, I tried out the VIP on Horse Riding Tales, the trial, so that's why she currently has a stable hand. So you can see that she's automatically managed here, her mood's good and all that. So we're going to have to use a different horse to show you this next bit. So, we're going to go to Foxglove here. So mood is the next thing that is super important when it comes to your horses and competitions, okay? This affects how your horse performs in competitions. If you have an unhappy horse, you're not going to get as good a score. So, looking at Foxglove here, she's unhappy currently, and there's 3 ways that we can increase this. Washing, horseshoes, and hay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some more horseshoes here, and we're going to craft some more hay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make a big stack of hay. I'm going to make a big stack of hoof horseshoes as well. I don't know why it says hoof picks actually, but anyway. Right, so we go back out of there. We're going to go back to Foxglove here. Okay. So we go back to Foxglove, we're going to wash her to start off with. So as we wash her, you're going to see that her mood's going to change over time here. Now it might not change immediately, okay? Because you have to have a combination of these different things. But this is really, really important, because if you have this unhappy horse, this horse is just not going to do well in the competition for you. So you can see now her mood has gone to neutral, okay? This isn't ideal yet. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to give her some horseshoes. Now because of my current player level, it's going to need a lot of horseshoes per foot. So if we give her those horseshoes, she's now gone to happy. Now this is the minimum you need to do this competition. You want to have a horse that's at least happy. Now if you're doing a long competition, I talked about this in the show jumping tutorial video that I linked at the start of this one. You sometimes, if you're doing a really long type of competition, you want to put down some bedding as well, because if we do this, you can see that the bar goes up slowly, increases until we use the last one. And then you can see that she's fully happy. Now, we don't have to do this. We don't actually have to fully do the bed, okay? We could have just left her without the bed, washed her, and cleaned out her feet. But the reason I did the bed was just to show you that the mood stays the same. It's just there's the bare minimum of what you need, the wash and all the horseshoes, but the hay will make the horse stay happier for longer, which is important when you do the long level. The competitions that take a long time to do. So the next thing is the accessories, okay? So obviously the accessories are in here. These are the bridles, the saddles, the leg wraps, and the masks. Now we're going to go back over to Clem here because of the stats that Clem has on hers. So if we look at the accessories here, okay? So right now she's wearing the pink fantasy mask, so I can take that off her and I can put it back on. She's also got the bridle underneath that, as you can see. She has one of the pink fantasy saddles and she's got leg wraps. Now, here's why these are important, okay? If we go and we have a look, now you might not have access to those particular stats yet. That's fine, okay? You just go with whatever the best stats you have currently. So if we go over here, we go into the accessories, okay, we're going to narrow this down. So let's look at some of the tack that you get at the start of the game. Let's look at the rope halter. So the rope halter, for example, gives an event bonus of +5, okay? Now, if we look at Clem, Clem is wearing much better gear than this. Now, for example, she's wearing the pink fantasy mask, okay? The best event bonus you can get is +100, okay? For example, the pink fantasy bridle, the saddle, the leg wraps. Now, she, in fact, is actually wearing, she's wearing the mask for this, and she's wearing the saddle. They're both give +100, but she's not actually wearing the leg wraps. She's actually wearing +80 leg wraps and a +80 bridle, which you'll see in a moment. So these are important because all these different things have different levels of stats, and as you level up you get access to better and better stats. So the best ones is the +100, but if you can't have those, make sure you pick whatever is the highest level stats that you can currently have on your horse. Make sure your horse is wearing those. So I know that right now Clem is wearing the ones that I have, okay, which is perfect for what I want to do, okay? She's wearing what I can currently put on her. I could go ahead and make the pink leg wraps and I could go ahead and make the bridle, but at the moment I don't have enough resources to do that, so we're not going to worry about it. Those are the key things, okay? The stamina, you need to know you have enough stamina to do the competition, okay? You need to know that your mood of your horse is good, and then the accessories. Now there's one other thing I want to talk about, because this is not so important when it comes to the show jumping, but I find it can impact a lot with the dressage. So if we click on settings here, and we look here at the graphics, so right now you can see that my view distance is on 75. Now this causes a bit of a problem. Now you can see that I can see much further right now than what you would normally see in my videos. You can see that I can see really far, but there can be a problem with this. Sometimes this can cause lag. If you don't have a very good phone or tablet, sometimes it will cause issues. So what I usually do when I do any dressage competition is I put this all the way down to view distance of 10. Now if we go back out here, we can see that I can't really see very far, but this is going to help typically whenever you go to do competitions, because okay, you can't see as far, but it will reduce the difficulty that you'll have with doing these. So okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the competition now. So we're going to click on here, we're going to click on Dressage Academy, okay, and we're going to use Clem for this. For example, one of these, we're going to go with this one. Clem could do one of the higher level ones, but we're just going to go with one of these later, or earlier ones, sorry, I should say. Okay, so once you've chosen the dressage competition that you're going to do, you obviously need to make sure you have enough gold to enter that competition. If you don't have enough gold to go and do competitions, make sure that you go and capture some horses and sell those horses. If you don't have enough orbs, make sure you go out and you mine resources to craft those orbs to then catch the horses to sell them for gold. So that's how you'll get enough gold to do the dressage competitions, because the dressage competitions are much more expensive than the show jumping competitions. So once you've clicked to start your dressage competition, you can see we have our stamina bar at the top, and then we have a 0. The 0 below is for the score, okay? So if we click start event, now this is where this gets a little bit different. You can see here that we have like a dart and a target board at the side. So the whole point of this is to keep the dart inside the target board. Now this can be quite tricky, okay? It's sometimes, as I said, you are going to get little spikes of lag, and I personally find that that's a big problem for me. I often get a lot of lag whenever I'm doing this. But the whole point is you either tap or hold, okay, when you're doing the dressage, to keep the little dart inside the target board, okay? For each movement it's going to change, so you're going to have to be ready. You want to prepare and figure out where the target board's going to go. Now the target board always goes up and down for certain movements. For some particular movements, like you saw a moment ago, the target board's going to stay in the same place, so you're going to have to rapidly tap to try and keep it in the area that you're supposed to. Now let's see, did we get enough? Okay, so we got quite a poor score there, but our mood has increased our score. Then we add in the appearance. Now, as you can see, we got 3 stars. Now, if this had been a higher level dressage competition, I know that I probably would not have got 3 stars, okay? Now, the problem that I have is lag with my phone, and I find that when I'm doing the dressage competitions, they're very, very laggy. That's why I reduced the render distance down to a much lower amount, because if I'd had the render distance much higher, then I would have got really insane lag, but you will have seen some lag there when we were doing that. So the first thing is obviously the results. So we got the 3 stars for this competition, but as I said, this is a lower level dressage competition. That's probably why we did get that. But thankfully for the quest, the progress through and like level up, you only need a star. So even if you do suffer from lag like I do with my phone, you should still be able to progress. So the next thing is the mood. As we can see, it's a 1.5. So because she was happy, okay, we get that 1.5. And that's very important because that helps increase our score. So the next thing, as I said, is the appearance. Those are the accessories that we put on our horse earlier. So we got the bridle, or sorry, the mask, which gives us plus 100. We got the saddle, gives us a plus 100. And then, as I said, the leg wraps and the bridle that gave us plus 80. So ideally, you want to be able to, once you get up to the level that you can make the plus 100 stuff, that you get the plus 100 stuff. But whatever level you're at, just check to see what is the best hack currently available for you and craft that, okay? So finally, the prize. So if you get a 3-star, you'll get more apples as a result of winning the competition, okay, and completing it successfully. Now, one thing I'm just going to mention is if you find that you fail the dressage, okay, and you run out of stamina, please go and give your horse more apples, or check what kind of rarity you're working with. What kind of horse have you got? Is it only a common? Is it not really getting enough stamina every time you give it apples? Now, we didn't have a problem as we progressed through this. We had enough stamina, but that's because my horse is a fantasy horse. It's a very high level horse. She's level 250. She has a lot of stamina. So if you are struggling to have enough stamina to do these competitions, and believe me, these competitions can drain stamina like crazy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something a little bit different that I didn't do in the show jumping tutorial video. I'm actually going to take another horse into this competition. I'm not going to care for it, so it's going to have a sad mood. It's not going to have any good stats, and we're going to see how much of a difference it makes, because this horse obviously has the right tack on and has good stamina. So let's go and grab a horse that probably will immediately run out of stamina. Okay, let's go take Blossom. Okay, so we're going to take Blossom to do this competition. Now you can see Blossom is unhappy. She hasn't been washed, she hasn't had horseshoes, she hasn't been given hay. She's only got 242. Now she is also a fantasy horse, but she's not as high level as my other one is, okay? Clem is level 250, this is only level 24. So let's take Blossom into this competition, and we're going to see how she does, okay? So as I said, we've done all of the opposite things that we did with that other horse. So she shouldn't perform very well in this competition. So let's take Blossom. We're going to take her into the one above this. Okay. So let's start the event. Okay. So once again, we're going to try and get it inside the target. We want to try and keep it as much as you can inside the target. Sometimes you're going to have to hold down, sometimes you're going to have to tap very, very quickly. But you want to have this little dart inside that target as much as you possibly can. Now you can see how drastically she's losing stamina right now up in the top corner. So you can see there's stamina depleted. Feed your horse to increase its stamina, complete previous events, finish daily quests, and buy them from the shop. So as you can see, she wasn't able to complete that because she just didn't have enough stamina. Okay, her stamina got eaten up really, really quickly. Clem doesn't have that problem because she's so much higher in level. Okay, even though that Blossom is another fantasy horse, Clem just has so much more stamina. So that's why you want to give either an epic or a fantasy horse, ideally, those apples when you're working with them. But anyway, Scrubs, I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know if you have any further questions about dressage, or if you have any tips, feel free to share them below. As I said, I will try and do a Skyrider video on this as soon as I can. But anyway, Scrubs, I hope you had a lovely day, and bye-bye!